Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. As you can see, or maybe you can't, I don't know. I got to work down here this weekend. I'm finally saying goodbye. Well, it probably won't be this week, but maybe saying goodbye to this rolling workbench that I have that is too big. We've talked about M wants to kind of spend more time down here with me to kind of help me learn how to be more accepting of other people in my space while I'm working. You know, I don't know what the future holds at this point, but when we talk about kids, we talk about her making sure that she, both her and I, had fathers that were or that are extremely handy, and we both learned a lot of skills from our fathers, and she wants to make sure that I have that capability when it comes time to my children. My current children have never really shown a whole lot of interest in this sort of stuff. I have brought them down here, but they are kind of scared of the tools and whatnot. So I have enlisted their help on occasion, but it's pretty rare that we get to spend time together. But and I think that part of it is I've never really been good with having somebody in my space, especially doing something like so. So to tell you what I'm doing, I'm building a new tabletop to replace the rolling top that's under here. So this is what you would call a torsion box. So this is essentially a 3-inch deep set of half-inch plywood stretchers that are connected by all these little interlinking joints. And what this does is it creates a very, very stiff box. It's actually, I mean, currently it's not that stiff. You can flex it quite a bit. But once the top piece and the bottom piece, so this gets sandwiched between, I've got two more pieces of half-inch plywood pre-cut, ready to go. Once it gets sandwiched between those two, this becomes an extremely rigid surface that will stay flat. And the problem that I've always had with my workbenches is they eventually sag. Even if I put a ton of cross bracing, they'll sag. Or just from the wear of like moving stuff across it, the center will get more worn than the edges, which means that things don't sit on it level. They'll sit on it kind of weird. And the workbench that you've seen for years now is MDF, and MDF on its side soaks up a lot of moisture. And so the edges of the MDF swell, and they swell enough that if I try to build a box here or something that, you know, if the end is hanging off the edge, it's going to sit at a weird angle. I can't get stuff flat. So I need a nice flat work surface. This is also smaller. The current top is 40 inches wide. This one is going to be roughly 26 and a half inches wide. I'm going to try to make it more close to 26. Right now, this box is it's right at 25 inches. And then once the top and top and bottom go on, I will trim them flush with this outside portion, and then I will add a piece of hardwood all the way around to cap it. So I want it to be right about 26 inches, which I determined is like, that's my usable distance. If I'm just sitting here at my workbench and I reach, that's how far I can reach. If I need to grab something on this other workbench that's clear over here, like it's completely useless to me. This is also wider. So this current table is also 40 inches. It's 40 by 40. This is going to come out to be about 45 inches wide. So it's a wider work surface and a little bit narrower, which means I can move around it a hell of a lot easier. Right now, so I've got maybe 3 feet between me and this table, but that means I only have about 6 inches between the table and my miter saw. So with this, I can have 3 feet on both sides almost. Not quite, but close, right? Or 2 feet. 2 feet on each, 2.5 feet or whatever. So I'm excited about it. So the point is, so to go backwards now, we were talking about teaching the kids. Something like this was really just I need to make this, right? Like this isn't a like helper project. I did have M come down and help me break down the sheet of plywood. I only have like a homemade miter saw or homemade circular saw track. I don't have a track saw. I really want to get a track saw. Yesterday I was like, man, I really wish I owned a track saw. I really want one. So I don't have that, but so I broke the sheets down loosely, roughly to size, and then cleaned them up on the table saw, and then cut a bunch of 3-inch strips. And I had M down here helping me feed all of that through the table saw. So I feel like then putting this all together, this was kind of one of those situations where it was a little bit stressful. I nailed on the sides to this piece and then just started having to put pieces in, put this piece in, put pieces in, put this piece in, and then cut these to fit. And I was trying to do it before the glue went, completely crazy so that I could get the whole box squared. It was stressful. And if somebody would have been in here, like, trying to talk to me in the process of doing that, it probably would have frustrated me. And in the past, that is the main reason why I've always struggled with having my kids in here while I'm doing something like this, is just because I get frustrated. And it's just like, can you stop? Let me finish this real quick, and then we can talk. And I have to learn how to control that. So, yeah, I made a torsion box. It's currently, I had it clamped to a hollow core door overnight. A hollow core door is a torsion box. If you've ever tried to use one, they're very, very stiff. They make like decent work surfaces. You could turn a hollow core door into a workbench, and it makes a pretty decent work surface as long as you're not hammering on it, because you would just bust right through it. They don't twist, and so it makes it a really flat reference surface. So I clamped this thing down and squared it up before I got done completely yesterday, to let it have its best chance of being flat. So today I will put the skins on it, and then I can go buy the wood to make the base. So it's going to sit a little lower than this. Right now this table is 42.5 inches. That's a tiny bit higher than my other work surfaces. This is right at about 40 inches, which is where I would rather this be. In fact, I think I want it to be a little lower than that even, like 38 inches or something like that would be a good height. I'm a tall guy, and so I like having stuff that, like, especially like this. I enjoy working up here, but when I'm working on something any taller, it gets really frustrating. So if I could drop this 4, 5, 6 inches, that's the plan. So I need to go buy the wood to do that and build a base. So I was hoping when I started this, like, my thought process for whatever reason was, I'm going to tear the old table down and then build the new table. And I wanted to try to get all that done in a weekend so that the show, I wouldn't be standing weird. I could just sit here in the normal place. And I realized I have plenty of room over there now. I got rid of the lawnmower and all that stuff. That was kind of the point. I have plenty of room now to, like, build this over there, and then once this is done, I could tear this table down. I don't need to rush. So I'm going to hopefully get the wood this week and start putting the whole thing together, and I'll have a replacement work surface, assembly table, podcasting, YouTubing workbench. That's the plan. What did you get up to this weekend? Anything exciting? I did this. I did some gaming on my Switch, and I did some work on my side project, that my side job, that I'm very overwhelmed by it right now. It's a very I'm getting into the super complex part of the thing, and I'm really failing to understand it. So I think I need to reach out and say, hey boss, I need help, because I'm getting overwhelmed, and when I get overwhelmed I get frustrated, and when I get frustrated I lose a lot of motivation. And I've definitely been in that zone for a little bit now. So What are you up to? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Can you hear that? My compressor squealing. Do you hear that noise? Man, it's really annoying in person. I hope it doesn't make this episode useless. Today's word you should know to sound smart is pejorative. It is an adjective meaning insulting, mean as a put down, or to belittle the other person. Wordsmith is a corporate term used to denote someone who is a good writer, but a professional writer sees it as pejorative. Pejorative. P-E-J-O-R-A-T-I-V-E. Why would a professional writer think that pejorative is an insult? Or wordsmith, sorry. I don't know why they would think that was an insult.